Hi, I'm Sarah Hart, Director of Drive Hart. We're going to talk today about the process of becoming a driving instructor. Many of you will already know a little bit about it, but I want to talk in a little bit more depth about it. So the first thing to think about is that if you're going to become a successful driving instructor, you need to embrace completely the national standards which are set by the DVSA. And that's about the whole body of training a learner to drive. That's from the beginning, where they have absolutely no knowledge at all of anything, even about the controls of the car, right the way through the syllabus to where they're really, advanced drivers are able to navigate really difficult junctions. So you as an instructor have got to be able to coach and mentor that pupil all the way through the national standard syllabus. So we'll come back to that again in a minute. But first of all, the first thing you need to do to become an instructor is you need to understand the basic process, which is basically there's 3 exams. There's a theory test, there's a test of your driving ability, and then the last test, which is usually the hardest for most people, is the test of your instructional ability. So the process to become an instructor is the first thing you need to do is apply to be an instructor online at the DVSA, and you need to fulfill the criteria of being a full license holder, be over 21, etc., etc. So you need to do that and just follow the process through. When you've done that, you're able to apply for your part 1, which is your theory test. And in the theory test, it comprises 2 parts. First of all, there's questions, and then the second part is the hazard perception. The theory test, you need to get 85% out of 100, obviously, and you've got 4 bands in the theory test, and you need to score at least 80% in each band. If you fall below 80% in any one band, you still might score 85% overall, but unfortunately it will be a fail. So you need to have good broad knowledge of all of the different categories, all the 4 bands. There's an app called the DVSA Learning Zone, which we highly recommend. That's written by the DVSA, actually, and of course they're the people setting the test, so it makes perfect sense to use their app. The second part of the theory test is the hazard perception, and you need to get 57% on that. It's like the learner hazard perception, but it's a little bit more difficult. Higher standard needs to be required, as you would expect. So again, the DVSA Learning Zone is a fantastic tool to help you achieve what you need to get the theory test passed. You need to pass both elements at the same time, the questions and the hazard perception, and then you've got your theory test done. Now, that theory test certificate will last you for 2 years. If you haven't passed your part 3 exam within that 2-year period, unfortunately, you have to go right back to the beginning and start again. Let's talk about the second exam. As I said, that's about your driving ability. So it's like the learner test, but obviously it's slightly, much higher standard. We're looking, or the examiners are looking, for a really, really good disciplined drive. And that means really good use of the mirrors, really, understanding what other people are doing out there. You've got to be really ahead of the game. You've got to have a good professional and progressive drive. That's what they're looking for. And again, typically most of our PDIs will pass that driving test first time. You only get 3 goes at that. So again, if you fail that 3 times, you're back to the beginning. You've got to start again with your theory test. The third test is a test of your instructional ability. Now, this is the one, again, I go back to the national standards. This is based all around the national standards and learning to train students, pupils through every single step of the way. Typically, this is the hardest exam. Most instructors find it quite difficult to gain control. That's one of the key things we spend quite a bit of time on with our PDIs, is actually getting them to gain control of the pupil. But once you've got that skill, it's something you'll never lose. But it's a hard one to get. The part 3 exam is quite difficult. It's made up of 3 basic parts. That is the lesson planning, and there's a risk section as well, and then there's the teaching and learning strategies. So it's all very integral to the national standards, again, making sure that you get a really good lesson where the pupil actually gets to learn and they get value for money. And because at the end of the day, we want all of our pupils to come out being safe and competent drivers. So if you can deliver a lesson in your part 3 that actually shows how you do that, then you'll get the result you want. You can go on a pink training license, actually, which is a good way to prepare for your part 3. In order to get the license, you need to have done at least 40 hours of training. but we find typically that people actually need more than 40 hours because you need to be ready to go out and teach a learner. And we have an internal Drive Hart assessment, which is we call the match fit assessment. And it's only when you pass your match fit assessment that will allow you to apply for your pink training license. Your training license lasts for 6 months, but during that 6 months, you can be out there training students and actually earning money from doing that. So that's a bonus. And it's a great way to practice for your part 3. And we at Drive Hart will be with you all the way there, making sure you're getting the lessons delivered correctly. So let's have a look at some costs and associated with training. Obviously, all your exams are going to cost. I think they're about £111 at the moment, but keep an eye on that because they do change. You need to obviously pay for your training. And we find that generally, if you allow for sort of 70 to 100 hours for the whole thing from beginning to end, so you need to be budgeting about £3,500 to £4,000. When you're on your trainee license, obviously you're going to need a car to instruct in, and we generally find that a lease car would be about £350 to £400 a month. On top of that, obviously you've got your fuel costs, you've got your insurances, but the good news is that all of these things can be offset against your tax. And again, at Drive Hart, our business team will be talking you through and helping you with any of those questions, because for some of you, if you did become an ADI, it's going to be the first time you're self-employed, and that's quite a big step. But again, our team will be helping you and training you and nurturing you through all of those steps. The great news is that if you do become a good ADI, you can earn sometimes up to about £40,000, typically slightly less, maybe between 25 and 35. But again, if you put in the hours and you put the effort in, it's possible to nudge it up towards £40,000. But the other really exciting thing is that it's a really lovely job, because it's a job that gives great job satisfaction. There's nothing better than taking a pupil on from absolutely the beginning, and then you see them out on the road as a safe and competent driver. So again, you follow those national standards all the way through from beginning to end. So it's a really great job. I love it. It's great fun, very satisfying. So if anyone would like to contact us and ask more questions about how to become an ADI, please feel free to contact us. You can go to our website and there's plenty of links there. Or my phone number is 0791 9488 360. And I'd love to hear from you, even if it's just for an informal chat, no obligation. Please give us a call, get in touch, and we'll hope to hear from you soon. Thank you very much.